Our last question for the evening is, what major issues do you see facing the Montclair community, and what are your recommendations to address them?
I guess I'm not totally sure what major issues are happening here. I have already in this short amount of time realized that the dam raised or whatever, there was some question or some issue with the dam. I don't know enough about it to know what we need to do, but I know that that probably would affect everybody here, and I'm sure that we need to keep the dam in very good condition. The only other issue that I believe that could possibly be facing a major issue would be the foreclosures. But it sounds like that hasn't been that big of an issue, and that we don't have that many foreclosed homes, and if they were foreclosed, it sounds like they've sold or rented or things like that. So that's about all that I've learned so far.
Okay.
Well, Mary hit one of them on the head. I am one of the 166 lakefront owners, but I'm not a Johnny One Note. I got upset when my dock was floating away, but I fixed it. I did it right. I didn't call Jim and bend his ear and yell at him. But the drainage around us has changed. They've built a lot of things that don't hold water. And our lake goes up and down now, and that is a big issue. And it's something we're going to have to keep an eye on and measure and keep up with. This security thing is an interesting twist. It's come and gone before. We've survived it before. But if we don't measure things and the results and outcomes and pay attention to them, then bad things happen. So we just need to continue to keep an eye on what we're doing and the decisions we make. Economy, as was pointed out, is a problem. It's tough to get a good deal on anything. It's hard for, well, perfect example would be the house at Northgate and Waterway. That I'm sure that's a rental. I actually put the contractor onto it that just went in and cleaned the mold out of it. But he rented it again because he couldn't turn it. It still doesn't look great. If we were going to have a trend in the future, it might be that there's more rentals in Montclair. We do have a lot of military people. I was one of them. We come and go. We rent our houses when we're not here, but now we have some, I think, on the lower economic end, people who've got in trouble with some of these foreclosures are getting flipped. That's something we really need to keep an eye on, and if we're going to enforce covenants, those rentals would definitely be my first target to keep a close eye on, because it's hard for an absentee to comply with anything or even care in some cases. So I think those are a few things we need to keep an eye on.
Thank you. Mark?
I think the number one issue is the economic situation. We have to make sure that we have enough resources to do what we need to do. And there's a big difference between doing what we need to do to sustain the infrastructure and doing what we would like to do. So we have to emphasize on the prioritization of what really needs to happen to keep Montclair's reputation high, to keep the property values up, and then what would be nice to have. And some of those decisions are kind of hard because some people take those wants really to heart, but you have to be able to make those tough decisions and say, well, look, we need to replace this, this, and this, and this because of this, these reasons. And yes, we could use this, but we have other priorities. My number two issue is the security. I've heard different rumors about different things going on in the area. So going back to what kind of quality of security, I believe that we do need armed guards and off-duty police officers. But we also need to have a presence, a sustained presence in the area as well, so that people realize, okay, the police are on duty from this hour to this hour. We can get away with whatever we want during the time they're not here. So we need to have some type of way to deter unwanted activity while yet sustaining a good armed presence.
Mario?
I think the biggest issue, and from my perspective, Montclair is 40 years old, and it's an aging community. And as things age, homes get aged, our community, in terms of new people moving into the community, competes with the folks down Cardinal, these freshly painted, brand new street type communities in terms of new people coming in and everything. And I'm not exactly sure how you really tackle that big issue. The community was, pretty much foundations were laid back in the late 60s and more or less built up from that time. But maybe ways that we can try to mitigate, I don't know, like for example, I see there was this little card I got in my mailbox last year to redo, because when I first got there I had this little thing on my curb there, and I didn't like it because it was kind of faded. I could barely tell my address, but got this card in the mail. This guy, for, I don't know, 20 bucks came out and painted a new one, and everything looked fresh and everything. And it's that type of, and that's just one example, streets or whatever else. I think it's very important as this community continues to age that we try to keep it, just to make sure that the natural age that happens doesn't start causing the natural deteriorations that happen along with that, in terms of properties, roofs or yards and all the other things that can just naturally over time. Not that homeowners wouldn't be keeping their properties up, just would kind of make the community not look as pretty as a new community that's being built down the street.